Good morning, everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to order for the Polk County Extension Service District Budget Committee. Everyone that's supposed to be here is here. And so I'll open first our election of chairman and secretary. And just for the good of the order, I mean, I really like our 2024 slate of officers, and I would really encourage us to go with a unanimous ballot in that regard.
So moved.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Sounds like it passed unanimously, but I'll open for nays or abstentions. Oh, hearing none. Welcome. Thank you so much for your service, honestly.
The going once, twice, thrice was implied.
Yes. Unanimous ballot thing. Sorry.
Hard to argue.
Yeah.
I want to recount.
It's all yours, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I will look for approval of last year's minutes, if everyone had a chance
So
to.
moved.
Yep, second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes. I will turn it over to you, Mr. Hanson, our illustrious budget officer.
All right, thank you. Obviously, with this budget, there's very little change that occurs. You have one primary revenue source, which is tax revenue. Current tax rate for Extension Service District is 7.5 cents per thousand. That is what I am recommending in this upcoming budget. The budget message has revenue and history projections in it, that there will be a slight increase in the budget this year. The difference in the requested and the proposed budget primarily resides with the request from OSU Extension versus what I proposed in the budget, which I believe is $10,000 less than what was requested. That is subject to change. It could go up in adoption, but I wasn't comfortable yet to put that in the proposed budget. So it is now $10,000 less than what was requested. All the other expenses are primarily the same as they were last year. The rent to the fairgrounds is the same. I just got information on insurance. It's the same. So pretty much a status quo budget with the exception of changes in OSU Extension and their request for funding. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Otherwise, I can turn it over to OSU Extension to talk about the services they have provided and their requests that they have in for this year's upcoming budget.
Look for questions.
I'll let them come up here and.
Well, please.
Morning, Richard Riggs for OSU Extension. Congratulations on your election. I just want to say we appreciate the support that the county has provided us over the many years. You can see in the budget document. There is just as Greg Hansen mentioned, a $10,000 difference in what our proposal is versus what he is proposing. It is not a significant amount that we could easily absorb that. We had scheduled in our budget interns and some professional development that we could scale back really easily and meet the 470 mark if that's what the budget committee decides. We've had a couple of changes in staffing this year. We still, Haley White, who was in our small farms position, funded partially by the county. That's the biggest expenditure that you don't see in the budget this year. Because she was split between Marion and Polk County. She is now on a state funded position and she's filling Gene Pirelli's old position in the livestock and forages. So she's serving the entire Willamette Valley now. And Todd Anderson, who was in a state funded small farms position, resigned to take a position on campus. And we're waiting for the legislature to determine what our state budget will be. And hopefully we can refill that position. and have it just serve in the northern part of the valley because his position formerly served Lane, Benton and Polk County. And my goal is to move that position north and just have it serve in Polk and Yamhill County because we have plenty of small farms people to the south and not as many up north. And I would like to have that position be 60% here in Polk County, 40% in Yamhill County going forward, but we'll see what the legislature gives us in the next few weeks. And those are the biggest changes in our staffing. Office staff will be fully staffed on June
June
2nd. Yep. We had a resignation and we've done a rehire right away, so. We're in a really great position right now.
Going smoothly.
Any questions?
I would.
Yeah. Thanks for jinxing it. Any other questions or? I don't think I have any either. All right. I'm looking for some guidance from the actual professionals here of what's next.
This is, I mean, in all due respect, this is less than a department budget for us, so.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
And so I don't really have any questions. I mean, it's again, status quo.
Yep.
And if you can live with it, we can live with it.
We can.
That's how I see it.
Yep. Okay.
Same thing.
Yeah, there's a public comment period. So do we have to wait for that or do we?
Technically, you have to wait for that. I can talk a little more about the budget and that if you want, but,
Yeah, I'd love to have you fill some time.
Thank you.
thank you both.
Thank you.
Like many entities, that are primarily funded by property taxes and that, the growth in property taxes versus the growth in life, are getting further and further apart. Costs associated with services that OSU, provides is going to outweigh the growth in property taxes. Right now, our property tax growth rate is about 3.5%, whereas wages, benefits, and that exceed that by a large margin usually. So usually you need about 6 or 7% growth, which property taxes never do. That at the peak, they're about 5%. So it's going to be more difficult to fund the services from OSU in the future. You see their request, you see my proposal, and there's a $10,000 gap that could continue to widen unless they get additional funding from the state and that. So that's probably the state of local budgets. It's not just extension, it's not just Polk County, it's statewide. So there's the better news, huh? So in the future, this budget will continue to get tougher and tougher. Once you establish a permanent rate, you're stuck with that rate. The only other way out of it is a levy or something like that, which we're looking at currently for the programs. And as you can tell on your ballots are tending to have more and more money measures every opportunity there is. And if they fail, they go back on. Not necessarily the case if we fail for our fairgrounds, but you know, we'll have to take a look at that. But the fairgrounds is obviously a key element to providing services, extension services. It's a showcase that they have. If we can't, you know, continue with the fair, then that changes a lot of aspects of this. But just gave you a little reality check of the state of local government and districts' budgets. Now you don't want me to talk in it.
I have a question.
Yep.
So as I'm going through this, looking for changes, I find it remarkable that the maintenance or the custodial, for example, is flat. Find that remarkable, given that everything in labor goes up, but that one stayed flat. So that I find interesting. So whatever you're doing, good job. I'd like to learn that. what that magic bullet looks like, but specific to rent, do any of you have a sense of what we're looking at for that building out into the immediate future? I have no idea when that lease comes up, but
Rent wise, we're fortunate enough that our landlord doesn't raise rents at the normal level that other landlords do. We've been fortunate there, and I don't believe there's going to be a real significant change.
Mm.
They usually average 2 to 3% less. So
they've gotten more than that in tenant improvements though, haven't they?
they've gotten tentative improvements. We had a special project for the kitchen area and that, and
They paid for over half of it though.
yeah, they've been very nice.
They're very generous, yeah.
Yeah, so we've been lucky with that. Do I guarantee it's gonna be that way? No, but in the near future, I think it will remain that way.
Yeah, that would shake up everything. Right, so,
It would take a chunk. Obviously, our insurance for example, at the county level goes up 5% almost every year. We've stayed status quo forever because we're just a token. I think this year we went up $1.12. So we're, the 1,400.
no negotiation? I mean, come on.
I said, I capped it at 125, so,
Good job. Way to hold the line.
Yeah.
they were under, so no need for negotiation. But we've been at that 1488, and you're gonna continue to be at that level, just how we get insured. We don't go through special districts. We have an exemption because our big insurance is from CIS, so they just give us a token amount for extension service district. If we had to go out and get it through special districts, it would not be that cheap.
And we haven't had any losses.
No, I get a report every month and I don't even look at it because it's always zero. So,
Good job.
well, technically, we don't have employees.
Right.
So, yep,
We do have people who can fall down on the ice in the parking lot.
we do.
Yeah.
But we haven't had that and we haven't had a claim ever. So that's another one of those costs that we've seen very little inflation for. And that's one reason this budget is able to somewhat compete with the cost of personnel on that.
I open the public comment period now. We're a minute early.
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
Everyone's showing up.
I assume no comments from online? I don't even know if this is online. Yeah, okay, fair enough. And there's no one else in the room. So do I need to close the public comment period then?
Yeah, you open it.
And close it? All right, well, I'm gonna close the public comment period then. And look for budget committee action.
I'll move to approve the 25-26 budget as presented.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, well, it looks like we've approved that budget and then we need to approve the tax rate for 7.5 cents per thousand. So look for that.
Also move, we approve the general tax rate of 0.75 cents a thousand.
Second.
Sounds good. Have a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. And I think that is the end of our business. So do I need to make a motion for adjournment or can I just adjourn this thing?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Thank you, everyone.